Now you want to talk about splurge? You ready for this?
Wait, that's not the splurge?
That's not the splurge. Super VIP, 15,000 euros.
What?
Here's what you got.
I could buy a nice car with that money.
It is absurd.
The prices for Worlds in 2025 just dropped, and let me tell you, it is insane. If you want the actually good value VIP tickets, they're long gone. But that is not what we're talking about today. Today we're going to be talking about how the Pro Tour is selling 15,000 euros for one ticket. So with that, let's get into it. Let's break down how we went from $0 for one ticket to $15,000. And you may be asking, well, why do you know the value of this? Well, I'm press, and I was able to film at so many events this year, and I can guarantee you I had a better view than anybody else. So if anybody knows the true value, it would be me. All right, so if you are like me and you're a little bit curious, what do you get for 15,000 euros? Okay, well, first off, this is a two-person ticket, so you and your wife can spend a week in Finland, which I actually just did in February. It was awesome. Played with reindeer. It was cool. But this is not that. This is Nokia, just disc golf, I presume. So first up, you get an airport transfer from Helsinki to your accommodations, which is also already booked for you at the Sokos Hotel Torni, which I've heard is a very nice hotel. Ultimately, it doesn't really seem quite worth it. Already we're getting to the realm of like, I think I could do that with 10 minutes of effort and probably $300. But let's continue. You get a personal assistant for the entire week to assist with practical needs, arrangements, restaurant reservations, and recommendations. Some of the most funny perks I've ever heard. If you are in a new area, and I've been into many unfamiliar areas, you know what you do? You just Google it, talk to people that are actually there, or just wing it. That is some of the most fun travel I've ever done. Like when I was in Chinatown in Singapore, we had no clue what anything said. We went into a hot pot place and it was amazing. Incredibly spicy, but very good. Also, you could just Google it in 5 seconds and get some great recommendations. But let's continue. You get a daily shuttle to and from the hotel. Super nice, love that. But also, if you've ever been in Finland, their transportation is amazing. All right, let's rapid fire. You get fairway and area VIP passes, golf cart access, VIP lunches, and then we get to the ones that actually kind of make sense for the price tag. You get 2 merch packages, each valued at 500 euros each. I'd be kind of hard pressed to think that's actually true, but you get disc, apparel, pro level bag. You get access to a party on Sunday, and then you get a dinner with a top player and event organizer, which I believe to be UC. And then you get a meet and greet with the world champions, which I'm presuming to be Kristen and Gannon. That'd be kind of fun. But ultimately, this does not equate to 15,000 euro, even if it is across 2 people. So if you're like me and want to get a bunch of discs for a great value, look no further than the MVP Gyropalooza box, available on my site now, already at a great discount. And if you want to get another great value, check out my mystery boxes that are guaranteed to be 30 to 40% off. If you want to snag them, go down to my site, wildrunsdiscgolf.com. So with that, let's get back to the video. And something that I haven't brought up yet is that you can literally resell your ticket right now. So if you are in that few that got the VIP before it sold out, you can probably sell it for double the price if you wanted to. So that's kind of a weird situation where scalping is kind of being incentivized. And just for reference, in 2023, the highest price tag for any package was $1,200 for the Gold VIP edition, which came with a bag, disc, apparel, playing 3 times on the pro courses, and playing once with the pro. That sounds kind of hype. Food and beverage, player meet and greet, VIP zones, shuttle, concierge. Sounds very familiar with the current package. And a bunch of people at the time commented, this sounds sweet, I would totally do that. So maybe I'm missing something with the amount of finances and expenses that go into this Worlds event in Finland, but going from the $1,200 VIP package to the 15,000 euro VIP package, it feels like there was a misstep done somewhere. You can definitely tell the real value is VIP. Everybody else kind of feels like an onlooker looking at the event, whereas VIP is actually inside the event. But to me, this is kind of systemic of a much bigger issue on tour. And that's not even to say that the Pro Tour even made these prices. I'm pretty sure they did. But like I said in the intro, all of the $300 week-long VIP passes are sold out. And so those are approximately the right value. So how did we get here where tickets went from you literally just walk up to a course and, oh, it's Worlds. Okay, I'll watch this. How do we go from that to $15,000 for a ticket? Well, to me, I think it all kind of stemmed from 2019. And the reason why I say this is because before 2019, the popularity of disc golf was much, much smaller. Every event was probably just like the pros and a couple of locals coming to it. You didn't really have a huge fanfare besides Worlds, USGGC. Ultimately, I think you could just walk up to a course and watch Worlds. I think that's literally what people did. And in 2015, I think it was like literally on a college campus. And then the earliest form of pricing that I could find was 2018, where it looked to be like the general price was $20 for anybody. But then in 2019, Todd Rainwater became the majority owner of the Disc Golf Pro Tour and put a very sizable investment into the company. And over time, now that the COVID boom is kind of waning, the population is kind of going down little by little, I think the investment is becoming a much more difficult thing to manage. And you can definitely see this in the cost of DGN. The prices keep going up and up and up, but it's very clear the network infrastructure is not getting better. I would like to see it rapidly improve in 2025, but my expectations are pretty low. And that's not to say that it's ultimately a terrible product, but it is to say that there are moments of just true terribleness where the audio gets cut, the entire stream is just a blur. All of this equates to a bad product at many points in time. And then you compound this with much higher prices to stream DGN, and it's ultimately just a net loss for everybody. And you may be asking, well, why are they raising prices? I can only speculate that Todd's return on his investments is a huge net negative. And so they're trying to fight with so many different conditions, trying to raise prices, trying to make it all make sense, but people are super resistant to the price. They can add a bunch of extra content, they can add Jomez, but all of it still kind of feels like it's the same product. Again and again, we're met with the same product for a much higher price tag. But so you may be asking, well, what can they do about it? To me, VIP pricing is not the issue. I've been right up to players alongside a bunch of other VIP spectators, and while it is chaos on League Card, it's fun, it's kind of lit, I really enjoy it, even though it's incredibly hard to film. Overall, I love the experience, but every single other person on the course as a spectator is getting a kind of mid experience at best. I remember going to Jonesboro being so excited to see the course. It was like my first true experience going to a Pro Tour event, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be so hype. Went in as general admission because I was playing the AM side. And then I got there and I was like, oh, you can only see like a couple of holes. It gets insanely repetitive. It's boring. I came here to watch disc golf and I didn't really get to see a whole lot of disc golf. I got to see a lot of players warming up. That was cool. But so many holes are blocked off. And if you're general admission, you don't get to see like 90% of the shots. And I came to watch disc golf, not watch other players warm up. And then to make matters worse, the pricing wasn't actually that fair. I think it was like 20, 30 bucks, which may sound reasonable, but for somebody that was expecting to see a lot of disc golf, I didn't get that. I was basically regretting my entire decision to go there because I wanted to see disc golf, and you can only get that with VIP. I just went to Worlds in 2023 at Smugs. The actual general admission was just crazy. You had a lot of chances to skirt around holes, so you could still see the courses, but it was incredibly tough just to see any amount of shots. And so even though I had some bad experiences earlier, that was kind of the turning point to me that general admission needs to radically change. With at best 9 holes being visible, but usually down to like 3 or 4, it's not ultimately that fun to me. I will say at Des Moines, just watching the island hole on hole 5, that was hype, but pretty much every other course is not like that. And specifically on days like round 1, FPO, it is just a ghost town, and it doesn't need to be. We can have so much more hype at these events if we get more people going and make the general admission a lot more easy to view shots. It doesn't diminish the value of VIP, but it also makes it so much more rewarding to watch as a spectator. And a huge incentive to do this is if they do make it a lot easier and a lot more fun to be general admission, you know what's going to happen? They're going to be getting a lot more people at the course, going to make it a lot more lively, and everybody coming to this event, they're going to be spending a lot more on soda, water, discs. But to me, I think the priority here is just nickel and diming on every single small transaction, whether that be DGN prices, entry fees, all of it seems to be amounting to a much more expensive product while not being significantly better. I think the demand is not as high as you might think. I think that's almost a certainty by now. The prices are just not attuned for the market. And with the lower prices, you get a lot more people coming to your event and presumably spending a lot more at your booth. This would basically benefit every single person at the event. Now, of course, you might argue, well, there's going to be too many people at the event. I don't think that's an issue. And you know what? The most hype events this year was in Europe. And honestly, the reason why that is, I don't even think it's the scenery. I think it is the amount of spectators at the event. There was so much hype on round 1 at Copenhagen Open. There was so many more people willing to come to your event, but honestly having a much lower cost or free to entry is the play. And I know they are spending a lot on server costs. I'm sure it's super expensive, but if you're not truly investing in the spectators, they're not going to invest in you. So honestly, I think a radical change needs to occur for any of this shit to work. I honestly just don't think it is sustainable, which is honestly just how it goes. I feel like so many people in disc golf are having to close up shop because they kind of had expectations of the COVID boom continuing the trend of going up and up and up, and it's not. On round 1, you could have so many more people coming, whether that be from like high schools, grade schools, as like a huge awareness of the sport. And it's hype. It's fun. It is super exciting to see Calvin rip a destroyer 450. Like, there's no words for how fun that is to watch. So exposing a lot more new fans to that experience is ultimately way more rewarding than nickel and diming a few spectators for a few dollars that ultimately just doesn't matter. But like I've said so many times before, the Pro Tour doesn't really change. They like to keep things the way it is because it's just easier. But if you want to make a huge growth in the overall enjoyment of the sport, you gotta change. There's no way around it. And as somebody that's been filming on tour this year, I can just see how hardworking all the camera ops are. But to me, I think the camera ops team is doing fine. I don't think there are any gripes I have with them. It's the higher ups that have a lot more say in the matter. And ultimately, I think it does come down to Jeff and Todd that are making these huge decisions that are often not in the best interest of spectators or anybody really. Please, please look into investing more into these events as general admission and less of what feels like kind of a cash grab, where all these events cost a decent amount for general admission, and I feel like you're just not getting that much. And to go along with that, I think reevaluating what the prices for DGN are would do a lot of great things as well. Because I cannot tell you how many Reddit posts I see week after week of people saying they're unsubscribing from DGN entirely because the stream quality is so bad and they feel like the overall product is getting worse and worse. And ultimately, something they would never do, but I really wish they would, is start streaming everything on YouTube. I'm sure DGN on the year would probably lose like $500,000 on that. But if you think about everybody that would come to disc golf and watch it and play it and invest in it, it might honestly be the best solution. Like, imagine the final round of Worlds being posted to YouTube. That shit would explode. But if you are Todd Rainwater making a pretty massive investment, it makes sense. You want to make more money. You want to be selling more bundled products that gives you more revenue. I get it. But having said this, I'm not a TD. I don't know the finances that go into each different event, but I can 100% say there's a lot more economic activity to spectators that go to your event rather than just stay home and watch. But that's just me. What do you guys think? I'd love to know. Do you think it's crazy insane to have a $15,000 ticket, even if it is for 2 people? And do you think the price tag of $300 for Worlds for a week VIP makes sense? Let me know down in the comments. And with that, be sure to subscribe. Wild Runs, signing out. Peace. You